Denim Couch Podcast. Ooh, whoa, ooh, whoa.
The 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s with Steph with an F.
Hi guys, welcome to the Denim Couch Podcast, where we chill on this denim couch and talk about the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm Stephanie Tanner. Welcome. Hey guys, it's Stephanie Tanner with the Denim Couch Podcast. This week's episode is with Kevin Sanders, and we had a great time chatting. He is currently in Mexico and is staying in Mexico for a while now. He's enjoying it there. He told us all about his experience in the 70s, and we're excited for this interview. So I hope everyone is doing well and hopefully enjoying the time with their family and friends. And I've just been thinking about how grateful I am for the people that I have in my life and for certain things that have happened recently that have put us in a position so that we're able to be with the people that we're with. We are here just trying to keep each other uplifted with lots of positive thoughts, lots of positive thinking, and making sure that we are all good and all keeping each other entertained and happy. It can be really hard during this time. I'm sure you guys are having difficult times as well, but one thing that gets me through things is by trying to look at the bright side and focus on what's good in my life and focus on relationships and the people and help out in any way I can, which most times is just reassuring people and being there for people. And I really hope you all are doing well, and I hope you really enjoy this interview. The 70s were definitely a fun, bold, bright time, and throughout this interview, I switched up the questions just a tad to focus them to maybe compare what we're experiencing now to some similar times in the 70s. So look forward to that. Kevin has a lot of cool stories. I'm excited. Let's just dive in. And my first question for you is, can you tell me a little bit more about your name?
Well, I didn't think it was very common. I was really the only Kevin in high school and in junior high school that I was aware of. But as I've got older, I have a lot of friends. I have maybe 10 friends, all about my age, and their names are Kevin. I have pictures of all the Kevins together. You know, we're all 60 to 62 now. And so I've got quite a few pictures of all the Kevins I've taken throughout the years. So Kevin was a common name because it's probably the most common name that I've heard of as I've got older for my age range.
What was life like back in the 70s?
70s for me was really a fun time. There were a lot of activities. We didn't have cell phones. We only had one phone in the house. And we would fight, you know, in our family, there were 5 kids and then mom and dad. And we would all fight for the phone. And we couldn't wait till a person got off the phone so that we could get on the phone to call our friends. So the phones were either hanging on the wall or they were sitting on a counter and there was an extension cord. And that's all we had. So we fought for the phone, and so the phone wasn't used very much. So there were a lot of activities. Things that come to mind for me, we did a lot of snowmobiling. Snowmobiles were big in the 70s. And so our family, we didn't have a snowmobile. We had a lot of friends that had snowmobiles. So we'd get on our big snowsuits and we'd go out all day snowmobiling. Boy Scouts was huge in the 70s. I got to go to a couple of Boy Scout jamborees. One was in Philmont, New Mexico. We had a lot of outings. spent a lot of time getting merit badges. In fact, when I was 14, so this would have been 1971, in Otter Falls, President Nixon came into town. And so we all met him at the airport. And he actually stopped by. We were wearing we had these big, long things with all the merit badges that we were awarded. And President Nixon actually came up to me and said, "Boy, you have a lot of merit badges." And I said, "Yeah, that's thanks to my mom." Yeah, he laughed. Fishing's a big theme in our family. We did a lot of fishing. The population wasn't as big then, so the fishing was really good and the fish were big. I did a lot with band. There's a little bit of cliques in the 70s. There were the jocks. There were we called them the nerds, which were kind of the people in the library studying or playing on they were computers, but they're not the same type of computers they are today. Of course, all those nerds are millionaires now. And then there was the Future Farmers of America, and they were kind of all the cowboys, ranchers, farmers. And then there was the people who played band and cheerleaders. And so there were kind of different categories. We were all friends with each other, but you had closer friendships depending on what activities you did and what you were interested in. I was in a lot of plays. I was in Finian's Rainbow and Camelot. And so I have a lot of good memories of being in the plays. Sports were really important for the guys. Basketball, football. We went to every single game. We did a lot of driving in cars. We drove everywhere with our friends. And we tried to find really unique places. Like I remember driving in my cars. We drive through the mortuaries and there was a place on Warm Springs, big, large row of mansions. The guys, we were a little bit mischievous. We would find a house to toilet paper, and we would toilet paper them good. And black cats, the firecrackers. We would be sent to juvenile delinquency now, but at that time, we'd find people's post office or post boxes, and we put black cats in them.
Wow!
And we'd explode. Yeah, we'd explode the. So we were a little bit. The guys were kind of a little bit mischievous. We got our house toilet papered a couple times. So if you have a large tree in front of your house, you would eventually have your house toilet paper. Kind of an honor. You feel like, oh man, my house got toilet paper. They must like us or something.
What did you do for fun in the 70s?
We made our own fun, and when we got together, friends, you wouldn't really call on the phone and say, "Hey, do you want to get together?" or such and such. We'd always make our plans at school. So when we were together at school, we said, "Hey, do you want to go over to such and such's house tonight?" Or if we were at church, we'd say, a friend would say, "Hey, I'm going to throw a party at my house on this day." So everything was discussed with each other, not necessarily over the phone. It was kind of planned beforehand. Roller skates were big, and so we do a lot of roller skating. And also there were disco halls that you would go with your friends and put your roller skates on, and you do line dancing on roller skates.
And
they had a big disco ball in the middle, and so we would put on our roller skates and you would dance. You bend your knees and your arms, and you'd hold hands, do these line dances, and it was a lot of fun.
What were some popular activities?
The guys really were into music. Cassette tape players became really popular in the mid-70s. We all had our cassette tapes. And so we turn on the radio and we would tape that, someone would talk, say, "Okay, we're going to play this song now." And we would tape the song. And we'd create our own music on these cassette tapes. and they were kind of like a miniature cassette tape with earphones that you would put on. So we did a lot with music, went to a lot of concerts. I got to see Pink Floyd, and I got to see Led Zeppelin, and I got to see Queen, and I got to see ABBA. I found that at that time in the 70s, it kind of shifted from the 60s. Both the husband and the wife worked. At least in our family they did, except for summers usually, the women had it off. Or they would get babysitters for their kids during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
But most parents worked. They're trying to, fulfill that lifestyle dream that they had. And they weren't cautious about our safety. I mean, we in the neighborhood, they never said, beware of strangers. That was never said.
Yeah.
It was more like, be friendly with strangers. And so, the kids were very free to roam around and do whatever they wanted. The parents didn't seem that concerned about it. And it's really interesting because I'm sure there are still the same dangers as there is today,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't express it, and they just didn't talk about, make sure that you don't stop at any cars, or just nothing was said. So, it's just a very friendly time with everyone, and we weren't concerned about our safety from predators.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think obviously that became a problem later on, as things started coming out in the 80s and 90s. So
Yeah.
but in the 70s there wasn't that concern. In fact, most of us did hitchhiking. We did a lot of hitchhiking, and it was really big in the 70s. If you needed a ride and you didn't have a ride, you could always hitchhike a ride.
Do you have any favorite memories from the 70s?
There's movies I remember that I loved. I loved Jaws, and I remember my friends, they go to California and they were scared to go in the water. We had a lot of really good movies that came out that we go to a lot of movies, and we go to a lot of drive-in movies. We'd get like 6 or 7 people in a car, and we all go to drive-in movies, so that was fun. But, during that, my favorite movies were Saturday Night Live, Rocky was a big movie that we all liked, Star Wars. Oh, one thing I used to do, well, this was, I think, popular with most of the guys. We would make necklaces. We'd go to the beach, and we'd make necklaces out of shells, or we'd try to find stones, or Indian beads. And so the guys, a big thing, trying to make necklaces, or we'd make these headbands so when we sweat it wouldn't get into our eyes. Another thing, in I think it was 74, 75, there was this phenomenon called streaking. That was big. And any football game or any sports event you went to, you looked to see when the streaker would come across the field. And then, of course, the referees would go chase after them. And they had this candy, and they were like candy lips. And you would put them in your mouth, and you could actually eat them. They were flavored, had like a cinnamon flavor or a cherry flavor. And so that was kind of fun. And Mom would always get us bottle caps and Pop Rocks, Razzles. Every supermarket, every pharmacy would have a photo booth. And we all cram like 5 or 6 people into the photo booth, and we'd take selfies in these photo booths with our friends, and you'd pay like 25 cents, and there'd be 4 pictures that would come out.
What was the style like back in the 70s?
Most of the guys wore Levi's jeans in high school. There was a period of time, probably in 73 and 74, when I was a sophomore and junior in high school, that pants with embroidered either logos or designs on the back right pocket. We tried to find pants that it was all embroidered and it was beautiful, and so that was really a big thing. But in high school, it was a lot, mostly Levi's and pull down shirts is what we wore. The hair was long. If you saw your ear, you were uncool. You would never have your hair that short where you would actually see your ears. So all the guys' hair was longer and at least covered their ear. A lot of the guys had it shoulder length. Short hair was not cool. The girls, I remember, they were in high school. So it looks on my prom pictures, and they all had straight hair. It was just straight, and then they had long bangs, and then they would split it right down the middle. Charlie's Angels came out with a girl named Farrah Fawcett, and the girls all wanted to copy her style. And she had kind of that feathered, I guess you'd call it a feathered look. And then, like in late 70s, they kind of changed it to like a shaggy style.
What made you happy back in the 70s?
Being with my friends, building relationships, being involved in the plays, being involved in band. We'd have band competitions, and so music made me really happy. Scouting made me happy. The freedom of, we all had cars, riding around in your cars. The big thing in the 70s is you just saw a lot of kids out on the streets, dragging down Main Street, just talking to each other, having fun.
Can you recall any events in the 70s that brought on anxiety or stress?
Well, I remember the Teton Dam when it broke in Idaho. I remember the Olympics. I don't remember what year, but it was in Munich, Germany. And a big terrorist group came in and killed, I think 60 or 70 athletes. Wow. And that was really a scary time. The Vietnam War was a terrible time. In our church, we would have two boards. We'd have all the members that were drafted and were sent to the Vietnam War. And then you'd have the board of the young adults who went on missions. So they had two different boards. If you didn't get drafted, then you'd go on a mission.
Okay.
And a lot of those guys on the board that were serving Vietnam never returned. We had a similar event that's happening now. Ebola broke out right after I was graduating from high school, and they didn't have a cure, and it killed 88% of the people that caught it.
Wow.
And it was hundreds of thousands of people died from that. And I remember that was kind of a scary time. We were all really conscious about our food and how it was cooked and what, where we were getting it from. So I remember those are like the three things I kind of remember that were, or four things, Teton Dam. Those are kind of four things I remember that weren't so pleasant.
What brings you peace or calmness during hard times?
I listen to music. I meditate or pray. I maintain good relationships with friends. I try to create get-togethers. There's some things that drive me nuts. Even to this day, if I'm at dinner, with friends talking and someone starts texting or writing messages on their phone, it drives me nuts. I just think that's something that should be left at home. It shouldn't be brought into a group setting. So that's something. And it's probably because I'm from the 70s and we didn't have that. And so it just bothers me that they can't take the time to actually have a adult conversation instead of checking their phone every 5 minutes to see if they had a new message come in. And it seems like a lot of people, if a message comes in, they immediately feel like they have to respond to it. But if you're with a group of people I think it's better that you wait until you finish your conversation. Travel, I love to travel. I love to see new things. I'm kind of explorer. I love to explore. I love adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a little bit of a daredevil, so I'll kind of do things that out of the norm. But I'm single, so I've had a little bit more freedom also to do those things.
So I think the highlights of this interview have got to be the little firecrackers put in the mailbox. Although I would hate to have that happen to me, I admire the creativity, and I've never heard this one before, and I thought it was hilarious and horrible at the same time. And then I thought just the pranks in general were funny. Toilet papering people's houses, having it normal to have streaking during sporting events. It's really funny. And I'm really happy he got to talk about disco. So I really appreciate Kevin, and I am so happy that he was able to do this interview with me. And I think he is a wonderful man. I am very excited he gets to travel and is enjoying his time in Mexico. And we miss him, but he'll be back soon. And thank you, Kevin, for doing this interview. So that being said, I hope you're all doing really creative, fun activities, spending lots of time with family, playing games. We've played Pandemic. We've played Cover Your Assets. We have played Catan, and hopefully we'll be playing more games. I bought a couple of books before this all happened, and I've been catching up on my reading. And just having to social distance makes you appreciate people more and realize how awesome it is to be in their presence and spend time with them. And I'm just excited for when this is over and we all get to enjoy going to the movies and doing tons of activities, going out to pottery, going out to the bookstore, going to concerts, going to events with tons of people and enjoying that, because that is a blessing that we're able to do. So I'm excited for how excited we'll be when we do get to enjoy those things. So looking forward to that. I really hope you're doing well. I wish you all the best. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Talk to you soon. Wait. You can't miss the embarrassing story of the week. No. Okay. It's that time. It's Steph with an F's embarrassing story of the week. So for this week's embarrassing story, due to the current events, I have been cooking at home more. And one thing everyone agrees on is that we have discovered that I am a very slow cook. And it took me about 3 hours to make enchiladas the other day. I just apparently take my time with each step. Even brownies. Making brownies took longer than the average brownie time. Just we've discovered that I take a very, very long time to make my meals for everyone. And I've been doing a lot of cooking. I'm proud of myself. We have made tacos and enchiladas and interesting combinations of meat, because there is not always beef at the store. And so it's been really fun and interesting and kind of embarrassing that it takes me a long time to cook. And maybe that's why I don't enjoy doing it, because it is so much faster if I get someone else to make it for me. So with that being said, today we all agreed that I take extra long to make meals. And we don't know why, but it is a little embarrassing. So here's to learning how to cook quicker. So that's it for today. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.
If you
came here for mental health help, please go visit your doctor. If you're looking for some mental health tips, Dr. Daniel Amen is someone I follow. I love what he has to say and offer. I think his website is brainhealthassessment.com, and he just has some awesome checklist items that go over brain health habits that you should be doing to have better brain health. I want to say there's like 5 to 10 items, and if you have those, if you're working on those habits and trying to improve them to improve your brain health, you'll also improve your happiness level, because brain health equals mental health. So keep your brains happy and healthy, and check out Dr. Daniel Amen. This is not sponsored. I just really like what he has to say, and I think it's really beneficial. I think it can help a lot of people. It's actually very matter of fact, kind of obvious, but yeah, we neglect so many of these habits daily. And I do feel like, if you're feeling unhappy, that may be one of the reasons you're unhappy, because you're neglecting your brain health, which is also your mental health. And yeah, trying to improve these habits could really help. So check him out. If you have any stories from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, please get in contact with me. Let's chat. I want nothing more than to chat about the past. I want nothing more than to chat about the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. If you have any specific questions that I'm not asking that you would like to know about these eras while interviewing these people, please let me know. I would love some advice, and I would love your input. So what would you guys like to know?